My chosen one, stop. Be still and listen. Do not scroll past this moment. Whether you are lying in bed with the weight of years upon your chest, driving in silence with questions that refuse to fade, or holding your phone with tired hands, know this. You did not arrive here by accident. This is not another video to fill the noise. This is a divine summons. Heaven has paused the ordinary to deliver a holy command. It is time to tell you everything. You have wondered why prayers seem to echo without reply, why your faith was pressed while others walked in ease, why doors stayed sealed as others stepped into favor. Hear me. This is not punishment. This is positioning. What rises in your chest now, the warmth, the tightening in your throat, the trembling in your hands, is not mere emotion. It is my spirit confirming that your steps have been supernaturally guided to an appointed time, and that time is now. I speak to the one who has carried much, who has whispered, "Why me, Lord?" in sleepless nights. This message is not general. It is personal, precise, and prophetic. I have chosen these words for you. My timeline is shifting. The windows of heaven are opening. Feel the hush around you, the peace settling over the noise, the whisper in your soul that says, "Pay attention." That is your spirit remembering what I never forgot. Before we go deeper, know that you are welcome here, seen, known, and loved. As your first act of agreement, declare it. Type 999 below, a seal of finality and a sign of a new beginning. Share this word so those I am calling will hear. This is your prophetic alignment with what I am releasing. Now it is only you and my presence, the presence of the living God. Your destined hour has arrived. My beloved child, do you ever wonder about those quiet moments that come without warning? When you step into a room and feel something waiting for you, unseen yet undeniable? Do you notice how your heart sometimes stirs in ways you cannot explain? How a whisper brushes across your spirit in moments when everything else is silent? You have wondered if these things were only intuition, fleeting thoughts of your own imagination. But I tell you now, those stirrings were not accidents, not inventions of your mind. They were my confirmations, subtle reminders that you were never ordinary, never random, never forgotten. You were being shown glimpses of the divine purpose that has always rested on your life. Hear me clearly. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. For such a time as this, I have placed you exactly where you are. Do you remember the words spoken in Esther 4:14? And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? That was not just for Esther. It is for you. Your life has not been a series of random events strung together without meaning. Every step, every detour, every long night of questioning has been part of my sovereign plan. You were not only born, you were positioned. Your story is not accidental, it is intentional. The heaviness you have carried through seasons of loss, through betrayal, through the questions that seemed to rise louder than answers. That weight was not my punishment. It was my preparation. You see, I never meant to crush you. I meant to form you. The pressure was not designed to destroy you, but to forge you into one who could withstand storms and still stand tall. Just as gold must pass through fire to shine, you too have been refined in the furnace of affliction. Do not despise those seasons, for they were crafting something in you that ease could never produce. Long before you opened your eyes to this world, I knew you. Before a single breath filled your lungs, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5, it is not only a verse written in an ancient scroll. It is your story, your reality. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. That truth is alive in you now. You were known by me before the world knew your name, before circumstances tried to label you, before fear attempted to define you. From the beginning, you were consecrated for something greater than the ordinary. Look at your hands. Do not dismiss them as common, for I designed them to build, to lift, to hold, to create what others cannot even imagine. They are tools of purpose, shaped by both labor and love. Look at your heart. The depth you carry, the tenderness that sometimes feels like too much for this harsh world. That is not weakness. That is divine architecture, carefully woven so that you might carry compassion strong enough to heal wounds you did not cause and to love in ways that reflect my own heart. Look at your scars. The world may call them damage, evidence of what went wrong, but I call them design. Proof that what was meant to destroy you could not. Testimony etched into your very being that you are still here, still chosen, still carrying the mantle I placed upon you. And yes, child, you do carry a mantle. It has rested on your shoulders since the day you entered this world. This mantle explains why you never quite fit in, why the road you walked seemed harder than most, why your heart wrestled with burdens others could never understand. A mantle means you were set apart for divine responsibility. It means you were not meant to live a life that blended in with the crowd. It means that even in solitude, even in silence, you were being prepared for something that could not be rushed or diminished. I know you have asked, why must my life feel different? Why does the path stretch longer? Why does the weight press heavier? Why does the fire burn hotter for me than for others? And I tell you this, because you are not common, because you are called. Others may pass through life untouched by certain battles, but you, because of what I have placed in you, have walked through trials not to weaken you, but to reveal you. Do you see it now? The very things you thought disqualified you are the things that prove you were marked. The solitude you felt was not abandonment. It was consecration. The tears you shed were not forgotten. They were seeds of strength. The nights you spent questioning were not wasted. They were classrooms of faith. I was shaping you when you thought I was silent. I was aligning you when you thought I had turned away. All along, I was weaving a story greater than your pain. Consider this. The mantle you carry is not light, but it is sacred. It is the reason your heart aches for justice when others turn away. It is the reason you cannot ignore suffering. The reason you sense when something is wrong, even before others see it. It is why betrayal cut you so deeply, because your spirit has always been wired for truth and loyalty. This mantle is not a burden I gave carelessly. It is evidence of trust. I entrusted you with more because I designed you to carry more. And now I say to you, stop apologizing for the weight you carry. Stop questioning why your life looks different. Stop shrinking yourself to fit the comfort of those who were never called to the same fire. You were never created to live small. You were crafted to walk with purpose, to stand with authority, to lead with compassion, to endure with strength. The mantle on your life is not an accident. It is an assignment. So I ask you again, what you once thought was only intuition, could it be that it was my spirit? What you once believed was random, could it be my hand guiding? The pressure you thought was punishment, Could it have been my preparation? My chosen one, do not miss this truth. You are not here by chance. You were placed. You were set apart. You were designed. This is why the struggles of your past did not destroy you. This is why you are still breathing, still standing, still seeking, even after storms that should have swept you away. Because I have upheld you, because I have preserved you, because I have appointed you for such a time as this. Receive this word into your heart. Feel it settle into your spirit. The mantle you carry is real. The purpose on your life is divine, and the season you are stepping into is not a coincidence. It is the unfolding of everything I have been preparing you for. From your hands to your heart to your scars, you are living proof of my design. And I say again, you are not random. You are positioned. You are mine. My beloved one, let me take you deeper now. What you have carried, what you have endured, is not without precedent. You are not the first I have positioned in such a way, and you will not be the last. When you wonder why your journey has felt so hard, why the weight seemed greater than what others bear, look back at those who walked before you, for their stories are echoes of your own. Their paths may seem ancient, but their struggles mirror yours, and their endurance reveals the truth. Solitude does not mean abandonment, and silence does not mean absence. Solitude is alignment. Silence is preparation. Think of Moses, my servant, who spent 40 years in the wilderness. Do you imagine those years were wasted, that I had forgotten him? No. Every moment in the desert was shaping him for the day when I would call him to stand before Pharaoh, to lift his staff, and to lead a nation out of bondage. The wilderness was not punishment. It was preparation. It was the crucible that turned a fugitive into a deliverer. In the silence of the desert, he learned my voice. In the stillness, he grew strong enough to carry a people's destiny on his shoulders. And so it is with you. Consider Joseph, the dreamer, sold by his brothers, betrayed by his own blood, thrown into pits and prisons. To human eyes, it looked like rejection, like abandonment, like broken promises. But to me, it was alignment. Each betrayal was a step toward fulfillment. Each false accusation, each forgotten plea was part of a divine tapestry being woven. I did not abandon Joseph in the dungeon. I was aligning him for the palace. When the appointed hour came, the very chains that bound him became the testimony of how I had preserved him. What seemed like delay was the foundation of destiny. And so too, when you look at your life, do not see betrayal as the end. See it as the soil from which vision matures. Now, think of David. Anointed as king when he was still a boy, yet hunted like an animal, fleeing into caves, betrayed by those he trusted. Did the caves disprove his calling? No, they refined it. In the hidden places, I taught him to worship through pain, to lead through suffering, to trust when fear threatened to consume him. David was not forsaken in those caves. He was being forged into the king who would rule with both courage and compassion. Do you see, child? When you find yourself in caves of loneliness, do not assume you are forgotten. You are being readied. What you call exile, I call refinement. And then Elijah, my prophet, who called down fire from heaven, yet afterwards collapsed in despair, asking to die beneath a tree. Even he felt the weight of exhaustion, the loneliness of carrying a mantle too heavy for human strength. But I met him in that place, not with thunder or earthquake, but with a gentle whisper, for even in despair, I never abandoned him. I was teaching him that power does not only come in fire, but also in stillness. That even my strongest servants are sustained not by their might, but by my presence. And so with you. When you feel emptied, when you feel weary after victories or battles, know that my whisper has not left you. These stories are not written to be admired from afar. They are written to remind you that you are walking in the same lineage of chosen ones. Their caves are your caves. Their wilderness is your wilderness. Their tears are your tears. And just as I was faithful to them, I am faithful to you. Solitude is not evidence that I have left you. It is proof that I am aligning you. Those who walked before you were chosen not because their lives were easy, but because their shoulders were strong enough to carry the weight of divine calling. And so it is with you. Hear the words of Romans 8:16. The Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. This is why your heart has never let you settle, why you have always felt the stirring inside you, the sense of mission that could not be explained by circumstance. That stirring is my spirit, testifying to your spirit that you belong to me. You have carried this fingerprint since your earliest days, a knowing too deep for words, an ache too strong to silence. That was never your imagination. That was my mark upon you. And the story does not stop with Scripture, for I have continued to write through the lives of those who came after. Harriet Tubman, a woman born into chains, who trusted the visions I gave her, who followed my voice through the darkness to lead many to freedom. The world called her mad, but she called on me, and I guided her steps. Her life was not defined by slavery, but by divine assignment. Or Viktor Frankl, who suffered in death camps, stripped of family, freedom, and dignity, yet refused to surrender the meaning I had planted within him. He discovered that even when circumstances cannot change, the soul can. And in that discovery, he became a beacon of hope for generations. Do you see? Even in the deepest darkness, my chosen ones shine. Think also of Terry Fox, young and wounded by illness, yet refusing to quit. He ran across a nation on one leg, not for himself, but to awaken others to hope. His strength was not his own. It was fueled by the purpose I placed within him. And Sojourner Truth, born in bondage, yet her voice carried fire that broke chains not only of slavery, but of silence. When she spoke, it was not mere words. It was my flame igniting in the hearts of those who heard. Do not dismiss these as stories of the past, child. They are reminders that those marked by me are always forged in fire. The chosen are never chosen for ease, but for endurance. They walk through storms not because I am cruel, but because they are capable. And you, my child, are of the same lineage. Understand this truth. The enemy never feared your past. He feared your future. He did not attack you because of who you were then, but because of who you are becoming now. He saw the blueprint of what I designed you to be, and he trembled. That is why betrayal struck so deeply, why depression lingered so long, why fatigue and disappointment pressed so heavily. These were not random attacks. They were desperate attempts to silence what heaven had already declared over your life. And yet, you remain. You are still here. You are still standing. The battles that were meant to bury you only revealed the resilience I placed inside you. The very storms that were meant to drown you have carried you closer to your destiny. The very nights you thought would break you became the soil of strength. So take heart, my chosen one. You walk in the footsteps of Moses, Joseph, David, Elijah. You carry the same fire that burned in Harriet, Victor, Terry, and Sojourner. Their paths were not easy, and neither is yours. But that is the evidence of your calling. You were never designed for the shallow places. You were marked for depth. You were never made for the easy road. You were set apart for the narrow way. When you doubt, remember, solitude is alignment. Silence is refinement. Struggle is preparation. And through it all, I am with you. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are chosen. And the fire that has surrounded you is not meant to consume you, but to reveal what cannot be destroyed. My beloved child, lean in closely, for I must now show you a deeper mystery. Every tear you have shed, every whisper you thought was lost in the night, every prayer you believed vanished into silence has not disappeared. Not one has been wasted. Revelation 5:8 declares that the prayers of my people are gathered and kept in golden bowls before my throne. Do you understand the weight of that truth? Each cry, each plea, each longing of your heart has been preserved as incense in my presence. Your words did not fade into the air. They rose before me, fragrant and sacred, stored until the appointed time of release. When you thought you were speaking into emptiness, you were in fact filling heaven's courts with testimony. And now the bowls are tipping. That sense you have carried, that strange awareness of being watched even in solitude, has not been your imagination. It was not fear or paranoia. It was the gaze of angels who have stood guard over you, of heavenly witnesses who have surrounded your path. You have lived under watchful eyes, not the critical eyes of men, but the attentive eyes of my kingdom. Every step has been observed, every trial recorded, every victory celebrated by hosts you cannot yet see. You are not invisible. You are not overlooked. You are part of a great story, and heaven has been attentive to every chapter. This is why I speak to you now with urgency. Isaiah 61 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." This is not poetic suggestion. It is divine command. Your light is not still on its way. It has come. My glory rests upon you even now. The call is no longer to wait, but to rise. You were not meant to shrink back into shadows when I have marked you to shine. You were not designed to dim your light to make others comfortable in darkness. It is time for you to step into the brilliance I placed within you before the foundation of the world. Rejections you have endured, the doors that slammed shut in your face, the betrayals that cut you so deeply. These were not failures, my child. They were filtrations. They were my way of removing what was not meant for you, of protecting what I entrusted to you. What you saw as abandonment was actually alignment. I sifted relationships, opportunities, and seasons not to deprive you, but to preserve you. Do not call failure what I call filtration. Every closed door was a shield. Every loss, a redirection. Every delay, a safeguarding of your destiny. And hear this. You are not merely chosen, you are marked. The choosing speaks of selection, but the marking speaks of identity. Before your first cry, before your parents gave you a name, I had already set my mark upon you. That mark has distinguished you since birth. It is why you never fully fit in, why your path has felt heavier, why your heart has carried burdens others could not comprehend. What you saw as defects, your sensitivity, your deep emotions, your loneliness, your awareness of things others ignored, were never defects at all. They were signs of your prophetic design. Think of Gideon. When fear pressed him into hiding, I called him mighty warrior before he ever lifted a sword. I spoke to his destiny, not his circumstances. So too with you. I have always addressed you by who you are in my eternal plan, not by who the world told you to be. Where others saw weakness, I saw capacity. Where others saw hesitation, I saw courage waiting to be awakened. You were marked with a mantle long before you believed in your own strength, and that mark has not lifted. Romans 11:29 declares that the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. That means what I placed in you cannot be taken back, cannot be erased, cannot be undone by failure, age, or the judgment of others. Even when life tried to bury it, my gifts remained alive within you. Even when shame whispered lies, my call remained untouched. Even when years passed and you thought your chance had ended, my purpose stayed intact. The mark I set on you is eternal. Do not despise the depth of your feelings. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a tuning fork to my spirit. The world's chaos affects you deeply because you were built to discern, to intercede, to carry spiritual weight others cannot. The loneliness you have felt was not isolation. It was consecration. I pulled you aside so that I could whisper things into your spirit that could not be heard in the noise. The tears that never reached your cheeks but lived in your chest were not weakness. They were the groanings of a heart aligned with heaven. Every depth you carry is a reflection of my design. You see, the mantle you carry explains why the enemy has fought you so fiercely. He recognized the mark even when you did not. From childhood, he saw what I placed within you, and he moved quickly to distort it, to bury it under rejection, to convince you your depth was dysfunction, your difference was defect. But I say to you now, your depth is your divine signature. The enemy did not fear who you were. He feared who you would become once you awakened to who I created you to be. That is why the assaults have been relentless, why depression sought to smother you, why fatigue pressed down on you. These were not random attacks. They were the desperate attempts of a defeated foe to silence a voice marked by heaven. But hear this truth with certainty. You remain. You survived what was meant to bury you. You endured what was meant to silence you. And in that survival, your mark only shines brighter. Your scars are not proof of weakness. They are evidence of endurance. What you thought disqualified you has become the very sign of your authenticity. My spirit within you testifies still, reminding you that you are mine, chosen and marked. So, arise, shine, let the weight of rejection fall from your shoulders. Let the fear of failure dissolve. Let the false names others gave you be broken. You are not ordinary. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are marked. And that mark is not for shame, but for destiny. It is a seal of heaven's trust upon your life, a sign that your story is part of something eternal. Even now, as you hear these words, something inside you stirs. That stirring is not imagination. That is recognition. Your spirit remembers what your mind has tried to forget. You are coming back into alignment with what I declared over you before time began. I am awakening you to who you have always been in my eyes. The mantle is real, the mark is secure, and the call is active. Beloved, Walk with courage, for you were not just chosen. You were marked, sealed, and set apart. My gifts within you are alive, and my calling upon you cannot be revoked. The enemy cannot erase it. Time cannot diminish it. Failure cannot cancel it. You are mine, and nothing shall change that. Stand tall in this truth. You are a marked one, and heaven itself bears witness. My beloved child, now let me show you that you are not alone in bearing this mark. Across the generations, I have raised up others whose very lives became witnesses to what it means to be marked. Their journeys, though unique, carry the same fingerprints of heaven that rest upon you. Their scars became their sermons, their wounds became their weapons, and their struggles became the very soil from which destiny sprang forth. What the world called disfigurement, disability, or disadvantage, I transformed into platforms of divine authority. Look at Frederick Douglass. Born into slavery, denied the dignity of freedom, silenced by the chains of man. Yet in secret he learned to read, and what he learned became a sword against injustice. His captivity was not the end of his story. It was the ground from which his voice rose like thunder. What the enemy meant to bury in ignorance, I raised in power. His scars of bondage became the proof of a liberation anointing, and his testimony unlocked the doors of freedom for countless souls. In the same way, what is pressed upon you has not come to end you, but to shape your voice, sharpen your insight, and prepare you to break chains you did not forge but were chosen to dismantle. Consider Corrie ten Boom. In the face of tyranny, she opened her home to hide my people, and for that she was cast into the horrors of a concentration camp. Her family perished, yet she survived, not merely to live, but to declare forgiveness in a world consumed by hatred. Do you see? The prison that held her could not contain her calling. The pain that tried to silence her became the very evidence of my grace. Her scars became a pulpit, and her survival became a testimony that forgiveness is not weakness, but the purest form of strength. So too with you, beloved. What has wounded you most deeply has not diminished you. It has prepared you to carry words of healing the world desperately needs. Now behold Nick Vujicic, born without arms or legs. To many, his body was seen as limitation, but to me, it was a vessel for boundless love and unshakable faith. In his youth, despair sought to consume him, yet I lifted him, and his life now speaks to millions across nations. The body the world judged incomplete has become a testimony of wholeness in me. His scars are not visible in limbs lost, but in joy that overcomes despair, in hope that silences hopelessness. His story reminds you that what the world calls limitation, I call demonstration. What others see as defect, I declare as design. You too carry marks that seem like hindrances, but in my hands they become signs of my glory. And Bethany Hamilton, young and vibrant, attacked by a shark and losing her arm. Many would have retreated, surrendering dreams and closing chapters. But she rose, not only to return to the ocean, but to excel, to inspire, to show the world that loss can become legacy. Her scar was not an end, but a beginning. Her platform was not diminished, it was amplified. This is the mystery of the mark. You see weakness, but I see a stage. You feel loss, but I see leverage. You mourn what was taken, but I show you it was the very seed of your next season. Hear me clearly, beloved. Scars are not the evidence of defeat. They are the foundation of your assignment. Every wound that healed, every tear that dried, every moment you thought would break you has become a brick in the altar of your calling. What others mock as damage, I honor as design. Your scars are your sermons, declaring to the world that survival is possible, that grace is real, and that nothing can separate you from my purpose. This is why 1 Peter 2:9 speaks directly to you. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. Let these words sink deep into your spirit. You are not random, you are not forsaken. You are chosen, you are royal, you are holy, and you are mine. Your scars did not disqualify you. They certified you. Your journey was not evidence of my absence. It was proof of your consecration. You are my possession, marked not by failure, but by promise. And now, beloved, the scrolls of heaven are being unsealed. Assignments long hidden are being revealed. What I wrote over your life before time began is now being activated. The mark you have carried silently is rising to the surface, glowing with the fire of destiny. This is the moment of transition, the time when what has been concealed in shadows breaks forth into light. You are stepping out of preparation into activation, out of hiddenness into visibility, out of waiting into fulfillment. Do not fear the weight of this moment, for I have already equipped you. The scars you bear are your credentials. The fire you endured is your training. The prayers you thought unanswered are now being poured out in power. What was delayed is now released. What was withheld is now unveiled. This is your season of recognition, your hour of remembrance, the moment when heaven affirms what I have whispered into your soul since the beginning. You are marked, and your mark is now awakened. So rise, my child. Stand in the authority of your scars, walk in the strength of your survival. Shine in the brilliance of your identity. The scrolls are open, the time is here, and the mark upon your life is being activated at a higher frequency. No longer hidden, no longer silenced, no longer diminished. You are stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be, and all of heaven bears witness. My beloved child, the mark upon your life is not only a sign of being chosen, it is a summons into responsibility. Do you feel the weight of this moment? I am asking you with holy seriousness. Are you ready to step into what has always been yours? For the gifts and the calling I placed within you were never meant to remain dormant. They were designed to be lived, breathed, and carried into the world as light. Yet with this calling comes a weight, not of punishment, but of sacred burden. Those I choose are those I trust, and those I trust I ask to carry more than others. This is not cruelty, it is covenant. I placed within you a mantle strong enough to bear what would crush another. The heaviness you feel has never been random. It has always been the evidence of divine entrustment. Some look at others and wonder why their paths are smooth, while yours seems lined with fire. It is because you were not created for shallow waters. You were crafted for depth, for storms, for foundations that hold what is eternal. To carry what I have placed within you requires endurance, resilience, and faith forged in the fires of adversity. You have not been punished. You have been prepared. Look again at Joseph. Betrayed by those closest to him, thrown into pits, sold into slavery, imprisoned by lies, forgotten by men. Did I abandon him? No, I aligned him. Each injustice was not the death of his dream, but the path toward its fulfillment. What others intended for harm, I turned for good, so that through his endurance many lives would be saved. Joseph's betrayal was not meaningless pain. It was the positioning of a deliverer. And just as I used his scars to sustain nations, so I will use yours to strengthen those I send to you. Consider David, anointed to be king, yet pursued like prey. He fled into caves, hiding in darkness, waiting for promises that seemed endlessly delayed. But those caves were not signs of rejection. They were sanctuaries of refinement. In those hidden places, his songs were born. In solitude, his courage deepened. Before he ever wore a crown, he learned how to carry it in the shadows. David was not overlooked in the caves. He was being forged to rule with humility and strength. Do you see, child? Your caves of hiding are not evidence of abandonment. They are proof that you are being trained to carry what others could never hold. And think of Moses, raised in palaces yet exiled to wilderness. 40 years of obscurity, 40 years of waiting, 40 years of silence. To the world it looked wasted. To me, it was perfect preparation. In the desert, I stripped away his pride. In the wilderness, I built in him the endurance to lead millions through dry ground. His 40 years were not delay. They were design. They were the shaping of a shepherd who would one day face Pharaoh and split seas. Do not despise your wilderness seasons, for they have been the place where your authority was being formed. So I tell you, child, the weight on your life is not random. It is not punishment. It is holy trust. You have been asked to endure more because you have been designed to carry more. The sleepless nights, the unanswered questions, the responsibilities that seem to crush, these have not been signs of failure. They are signs of consecration. While others danced through ease, you walked through fire. While others tasted comfort, you drank the cup of endurance. This is not because I forgot you, but because I counted on you. Understand this mystery. You are not a wall, fragile and exposed, waiting to crumble. You are a foundation, buried deep, unseen by most, yet holding up everything above you. Foundations are not praised, they are hidden. They are not admired, they are endured. And yet without them, nothing can stand. This is what you are to those I have entrusted to your life. You have felt hidden, overlooked, buried beneath the weight of responsibility. But in truth, you have been sustaining more than you knew. Your quiet prayers have upheld generations. Your steadfastness has preserved families. Your endurance has carried more than you will ever see this side of eternity. Do not resent being unseen. The foundation does not need applause to be essential. The foundation is trusted because it endures. And so with you, the strength I have placed within you has made others assume you needed nothing. Yet in truth, it was I sustaining you all along. The world may not have noticed, but heaven has recorded every sacrifice, every moment you chose to stand when the collapse would have been easier. You are the hidden strength upon which others lean, the silent pillar carrying more than they realize. My child, I tell you now with tenderness and truth, you have been prepared not for ease, but for impact. You have been marked not to blend, but to bear. What you carry is greater than applause, for it is the weight of divine trust. When others waver, you will stand. When others flee, you will remain. When others crumble, you will hold. Because I have planted you as a foundation stone in the house I am building. So lift your head, though the burden feels heavy. You are not forgotten in the deep. You are not punished in the wait. You are honored, trusted, and chosen. The mantle upon you is holy, and the assignment before you is eternal. Others may never understand the pressure you live under, but I do, for I placed it there. And I will never leave you to carry it alone. For just as Joseph's betrayal led to deliverance, David's caves led to crowns, and Moses' wilderness led to wonders, so too will your wait lead to fulfillment. Rise, beloved one. Step into the identity I wrote over you. You are not a wall to be battered. You are a foundation to be trusted. And the world will stand because you endured. My beloved child, listen carefully as I take you deeper still, for what I am about to speak may pierce you, but it is necessary. To be chosen is never without cost. To carry my mark is never without misunderstanding. Those I have set apart have always felt the sharp edge of being misread, misjudged, and misplaced. That feeling of being an outsider, of sitting in rooms and sensing you do not belong, of walking through life with questions in your heart while others seem content with surface answers. This is not because you are broken. It is because you are mine. My chosen ones rarely blend in, because their spirits are not shaped by the world's patterns. You feel deeply, you see differently, and you hear beyond what others notice. That difference has made you misunderstood. But child, it is the very evidence of your calling. This is a hard truth. The path of the chosen often feels lonely. You may carry the weight of responsibility no one thanks you for, and you may walk with insights no one else comprehends. It has left you feeling strange, set apart, perhaps even alien in your own family, your own circle, your own community. But hear me, this separation is not rejection. It is refinement. The loneliness is not punishment. It is alignment. I have set you apart so that your ear would be tuned to my voice and not lost in the noise of the crowd. Look at history and see the ones I raised who bore the same weight. Florence Nightingale, surrounded by a society that told her a woman's place was not in leadership, not in the blood and dirt of war. Yet she answered my whisper in the night, walking into battlefields where disease and death ruled, bringing not just medicine, but reform. The world mocked her, dismissed her, tried to push her aside, but I had marked her. Her compassion and her vision reshaped medicine itself. She bore the loneliness of defying culture, but her scars became her legacy. Do you see? Those who are set apart often walk alone, but their steps change the world. Consider Winston Churchill. Long before his name became synonymous with courage, he was ridiculed, cast aside, and silenced by politics. His failures were public, his missteps recorded. To many, he seemed irrelevant. But in the darkest hour, when a nation trembled, the very voice once rejected became the voice of resolve. I had marked him, though few could see it in his wilderness years. His setbacks were not his disqualification. They were his training. His scars became strength, his wounds became wisdom, and his rejection became the preparation for his greatest moment. So it has been with you. What looked like defeat was not final, it was foundation. Think also of Serena Williams. From the courts of childhood to the arenas of history, she bore the weight of being underestimated. Criticized not only for her skill, but for her identity, her strength, her very being. The world questioned her, judged her, sought to confine her to lesser roles. Yet she rose, not only as a champion in sport, but as a witness of resilience. The fire of criticism refined her determination. The very traits others mocked became the pillars of her greatness. And so it is with you, child. The world has misunderstood your intensity, your persistence, your unwillingness to bow to mediocrity. But that fire within you is not error, it is design. And Stephen Hawking, bound in a body that withered, trapped in a frame that others pitied, yet his mind soared. His voice, mechanical and restrained, carried truths that expanded the human understanding of the universe. His limitations did not silence him, they amplified him. What others called tragedy, I used as testimony. What looked like chains became wings. His existence shouted to the world that the vessel may weaken, but the gift within cannot be diminished. Hear me, beloved. What has appeared to others as your weakness is in fact your platform. The very thing they pitied is what I will use to proclaim my glory. This is the pattern of my chosen. Their suffering is never random. Their pain is never pointless. Every fire you walk through has purpose. The nights of sorrow have sharpened your discernment. The seasons of rejection have protected your destiny. The tears you cried in silence have watered the soil of your future harvest. I have allowed you to be pressed, not to punish you, but to purify you. The refining fire does not come to destroy, but to reveal what cannot be consumed. Child, your suffering has been your training ground. Think of the story of Jericho. My people stood before walls so high they seemed immovable, so thick they seemed eternal. I did not hand them weapons to destroy the stone. I gave them a command to walk. Once each day for 6 days, they circled in silence. To the human eye, it looked like futility. To hearts weary of waiting, it felt like madness. But each step was not wasted. It was obedience. Each circle was not empty. It was building momentum in the unseen. On the 7th day, they marched 7 times. And at the sound of their shout, the walls collapsed. Not because of their strength, but because of their faith. Child, hear this with trembling reverence. You have been circling your walls. You have prayed and waited. You have obeyed even when nothing seemed to change. You have wondered if your steps mattered, if your faith made a difference. But I tell you now, the walls are trembling. The 7th day is near. The season of circling is ending, and the moment of breakthrough is beginning. Just as Jericho's walls fell in obedience, so too will the barriers around your life crumble at my appointed time. And I declare this to you: the next 7 days are not ordinary. They are marked. You are stepping into a prophetic countdown, a divine cycle of completion and fulfillment. What you thought was delayed is being aligned. What you thought was denied is being prepared. In the days to come, you will sense acceleration. You will feel the stirring of transition. You will know that heaven has shifted the timeline. These days are not random. They are the appointed hour. But with this promise comes a question. Will you walk these next steps in faith, or will you retreat in doubt? Will you keep circling even when the walls still stand? Will you believe that obedience has power even when evidence is hidden? The choice is before you, beloved. Your breakthrough is not tied to chance. It is tied to your trust. The walls do not fall for the passive. They fall for the faithful. So lift your eyes. Do not despise the scars. Do not resent the solitude. Do not mistake rejection for abandonment. These have all been the evidence of my hand upon you. Your suffering has refined you. Your loneliness has aligned you. Your scars have become your foundation. You are my chosen one, marked not only for survival, but for impact. In the next 7 days, watch with expectation. Write the date upon your heart. Let faith rise in you like fire. What I have whispered in secret will begin to be revealed in the open. What has been locked behind walls is about to be released. Your Jericho is about to crumble, and your inheritance awaits. Do not shrink back, child. Stand firm, for the weight you have carried has not been wasted. The loneliness has not been empty. The fire has not been meaningless. You are chosen, you are marked, and you are standing at the edge of breakthrough. The next 7 days are the pivot of your destiny. Step forward with courage. For just as I was faithful to Florence, to Churchill, to Serena, to Hawking, so too am I faithful to you. The scars you bear are the testimony of what you have endured, and they are the very signs of what is about to be released. Your walls are trembling. Your season is shifting. Your appointed time is here. My beloved child, let me now speak to the very urgency of this moment. The walls are trembling. The atmosphere of heaven is shifting. And yet one danger still threatens your destiny more than any storm or enemy. It is the danger of delay. For many of my chosen, the greatest hindrance has not been the assaults of the adversary, but the hesitation of their own hearts. You have prayed, you have sought signs, you have longed for clarity, and I have given them. Yet still you pause, still you circle the same mountain, still you wait for perfect conditions that will never come. Delay has cost many their inheritance, and I tell you now, beloved, there can be no more delay. You see, delay is not always the same as waiting. Waiting is an act of faith, an alignment with my timing, a trust that what I have spoken, I will bring to pass. But delay is different. Delay is a silent rebellion, cloaked in spiritual language, where you call hesitation discernment and fear wisdom. Delay is when I whisper, move, and you reply, later. Delay is when I open the door and you remain still on the threshold. Delay trains your spirit to resist my voice, and if you resist long enough, the voice you ignore becomes the voice you can no longer hear. Do not deceive yourself, child. Many of the circles you have walked were not my design, but your disobedience. Many of the cycles you have endured were not tests of faith, but the fruit of hesitation. The prayers you thought unanswered were not ignored. They were waiting on your obedience. I have placed in your hands keys you have not used, doors you have not opened, steps you have not taken. And I tell you with holy urgency, if you remain still when I call you to rise, I will raise another. Esther 4:14 speaks it plainly. If you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Do you hear it, child? My mission will always prevail, but your participation determines whether you receive the inheritance I intended for you. If you remain silent, I will move through another. If you hesitate, I will still bring deliverance. But you will forfeit part of the legacy that was meant to bear your name. This is the danger of delay. It is not that my promises will fail, but that you may fail to enter them. Delay dilutes destiny. Delay divides inheritance. Delay robs you of the fullness of your crown. I will not soften this word, for the time is too urgent. When I called Moses at the burning bush, he hesitated. He offered excuses. He said he could not speak well. He asked me to send someone else, and though I used him mightily, the delay caused his calling to be shared with Aaron. What should have been his alone became divided. The hesitation of one moment cost him a portion of his inheritance. Do not let this be your story. Do not let fear of inadequacy or the desire for certainty rob you of what I have prepared. So I call you now to a prophetic act. Take up your pen, your journal, your paper, and write today's date. Mark this moment as holy. And beneath the date, in bold and resolute letters, write these words: no more delay. This is not a slogan to inspire you. This is a covenant with heaven. It is your trumpet blast, your declaration that you will no longer circle in disobedience. It is your seal that hesitation will not rob you again. As you write it, you are breaking internal vows of fear and aligning yourself with divine urgency. As you mark it, angels take notice, and heaven records it. This act, simple as it seems, reverberates in eternity. For look at the witnesses who moved when it was not safe. Vincent van Gogh, who painted more than 2,000 works, though almost none sold in his lifetime. To the world, he looked like a failure. But had he not painted, the brilliance within him would never have been released to transform generations after him. What if he had waited until he was celebrated? What if he had stopped because no one was applauding? His legacy would have been buried in silence. But he did not delay. He poured out what was inside of him. And though recognition came after, his obedience bore fruit eternal. And Amelia Earhart told that flying was too dangerous for a woman, that the skies belonged to others. She could have delayed, waiting for the world to change, waiting for permission that would never come. But she rose, she flew. She stepped into the unknown, and history was written. Her courage was not the absence of fear, but the refusal of delay. Child, if she had waited for safety, her story would not exist. Do you see? Delay is the thief of legacy, but obedience, even in uncertainty, writes history. So now I tell you, your 7-day countdown begins. Not next week, not when you feel ready, not after one more sign. Now. This day is marked in heaven as your appointed time. These next 7 days are pregnant with purpose, carrying the weight of divine alignment. What should take years will be set in motion in days. What has been locked will begin to loosen. What has been delayed will accelerate. But only if you move in step with me. Do not look at your scars and think they disqualify you. Do not examine your past and think it discredits you. Do not measure your strength and think it is too little. I do not call the equipped, I equip the called. And you, child, have been called. This is why the warfare has intensified, why the pressure has felt unbearable, why the battles have sharpened in recent days. The enemy has sensed what is coming. He does not fear your past, he fears your future. He does not tremble at what you have been. He trembles at what you are about to become when you step without delay. So rise. Do not allow fear to paralyze you another day. Do not allow doubt to silence you another hour. Do not allow hesitation to rob you another moment. Write it down. No more delay. Say it aloud. No more delay. Declare it over your life, your family, your destiny. For as you declare it, you are tearing down strongholds of fear. You are breaking cycles of hesitation. You are aligning yourself with the speed of heaven. This is your Kairos moment, the appointed time when eternity intersects with your reality. The heavens are leaning in, angels are dispatched, scrolls are opening, and the clock of destiny is striking. Do not waste it. Do not defer it. Do not sleep through it. The countdown has begun, and the next 7 days will mark the line between who you were and who you are becoming. You have circled long enough. You have hesitated long enough. You have carried the excuses long enough. Now is the time. No more delay. My beloved child, hear me now as I draw you even closer. For what I am about to reveal will shatter the last chains that the enemy has tried to bind around your heart. For too long you have been deceived into believing that you are merely surviving, that you are scraping by on the edge of life, that your story is one of endurance but not of destiny. This has been the enemy's most subtle and destructive lie. To convince my chosen ones that they are victims, that they are ordinary, that they are insignificant. But I tell you with the full weight of heaven's authority, you are not ordinary. You are not forgotten. You are not a mere survivor. You are my child, and that identity shifts everything. The adversary has tried to brand you with labels that never belonged to you. He whispered that your failures defined you, that your scars proved you were broken, that your struggles marked you as weak. He sought to bury you beneath shame and convince you that the most you could hope for was to endure quietly until the end. But hear my voice now cutting through every lie. You are not defined by what you have been through. You are defined by who I am and by the truth that you belong to me. The enemy's deception crumbles when you remember your true name, the name I gave you before time began. Romans chapter 8:15 speaks with eternal clarity. For you did not receive the spirit of slavery to fall back into fear, but you received the spirit of adoption, by whom we cry, Abba, Father. This is not just a verse. It is your identity. You are not a slave to fear, to sin, to shame, to the voices that told you you were not enough. You are a son, a daughter, adopted into my family, secured by my covenant, embraced by my everlasting arms. Fear may have tried to be your master, but it has been dethroned. Shame may have tried to silence you, but it has been broken. The spirit of adoption speaks louder than the chains of your past. So I call you to a prophetic act that will seal this truth in your spirit. Take a pen, a piece of paper, or whatever you have before you. Even type it right in the comments section and write these 4 words. I claim my name. These are not empty words. They are a declaration in the face of hell itself. When you write them, you declare that you will no longer be bound by false labels, no longer live under borrowed identities, no longer shrink into the shadows of shame. You are claiming what I already gave you, the name of my child, my chosen, my beloved. This act may feel small, but it is holy. It breaks the power of lies. It tears down strongholds of doubt. It opens your spirit to step fully into who you are. Child, when you say, I claim my name, you are stepping out of the garments of survival and into the robes of inheritance. You are declaring that your past does not define you, that your failures do not chain you, that your scars do not diminish you. You are agreeing with me, and when you agree with me, heaven itself moves to enforce that agreement. You are not begging for identity. You are reclaiming what has always been yours. Look at those who came before you, who bore the same mark and walked through the same fire. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, stripped of freedom, silenced by chains. The enemy whispered that he was forgotten, that he was finished, that his life was wasted behind stone walls. But I had marked him, and his calling could not be contained. When he emerged, he carried not bitterness, but vision, not despair, but destiny. His scars became his authority, his years of silence became his preparation, and his life became a testimony that no prison can erase purpose. Consider Helen Keller, born without sight or hearing, locked in a silence deeper than most could imagine. To the world, she seemed disqualified, incapable, limited beyond hope. But I had placed within her a voice that no disability could silence. Her life became a beacon of perseverance, her words a river of wisdom, her influence a torch that lit the way for generations. What the world called a limitation was the very platform from which my glory was displayed. Think of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who lived in a time when darkness covered nations, when evil rose with terrifying power. He could have remained silent. He could have protected his own life. But he remembered his name. He stood with conviction, he spoke with clarity, and he bore the cost of obedience. Even unto death, his life echoed through history as a witness that faithfulness is greater than fear. His body fell, but his testimony lives, proving that death cannot silence those who belong to me. And Clara Barton, a woman dismissed by her generation, told that she was only a nurse, that her voice did not matter, that her presence was unnecessary. Yet she walked into war zones, into chaos, into blood and fire, carrying hope, healing, and courage. She founded what would become a refuge for millions, the Red Cross, because she refused to accept the labels of limitation. She remembered her true name, and her obedience became a movement that still carries life today. Do you see the pattern, beloved? Each of these lives was marked by suffering, misunderstood by the world, underestimated by the voices around them. Yet their scars, their limits, their prisons, their dismissals became the very stages upon which their calling was revealed. They were not ordinary, and neither are you. They bore my mark, and so do you. The adversary has fought so hard to convince you that you are small, that you are broken, that you are insignificant, because he knows the truth. He knows that once you remember your name, once you step into your identity as my child, his power crumbles. He cannot bind you if you know you are free. He cannot silence you if you know you are chosen. He cannot diminish you if you know you are royal. This is why the battle for your mind has been so fierce, why the weight of shame has pressed so heavily, why the lies have echoed so loudly. Because he fears the moment you wake up to who you already are, and that moment is now. The veil is lifting, the chains are breaking, and your spirit is remembering what your heart has long forgotten. You were never meant to walk in shadows. You were never meant to settle for survival. You were never meant to hide under false names. You were meant to rise as my chosen, to walk as my child, to live as one crowned with inheritance. So rise, beloved. Shake off the ashes of false identity. Tear off the garments of shame. Declare it boldly, I claim my name. When let those words echo in your home, in your heart, in your spirit. Say them until they drown out every lie, until they silence every doubt, until they awaken every dormant gift within you. These words are not for a moment, they are for a lifetime. They are your seal, your covenant, your alignment with who I say you are. And I assure you of this. When you claim your name, you step into a stream of power that cannot be stopped. Mountains begin to move. Doors begin to open. Strongholds begin to crumble. Your scars transform into testimony. Your weakness into strength. Your silence into song. The world will look at you and see survival. But heaven will look at you and see authority. You are not ordinary. you never were. You never will be. Beloved, the time has come for you to walk in the fullness of your identity. No more shrinking, no more second-guessing, no more wearing names that do not belong to you. You are my child, you are my chosen, you are my beloved. And now you must rise to live as such. Isaiah 48:6 declares, "From now on I will tell you of new things, of hidden things unknown to you." My beloved child, this is not poetic suggestion. It is my eternal promise. I am not speaking in riddles. I am not cloaking myself in shadows. I am revealing secrets kept for such a time as this, treasures hidden in darkness, now brought into the light of your appointed hour. What I am unveiling is not for the curious, but for the committed. It is for you who have endured, who have pressed on, who have waited and wondered whether your obedience mattered. I tell you, every tear, every prayer, every act of faith has carried you here to this unveiling. Yet I must also speak to the danger that lingers at the edge of this moment. Waiting too long can become its own disobedience. Waiting is holy when it is rooted in trust, but waiting becomes rebellion when it is cloaked in fear. Many of my children have excused delay as wisdom, hesitation as discernment, reluctance as caution. But hear me clearly. There comes a point when your delay is not patience, but defiance. I have whispered, "Move," and you have said, "Later." I have opened doors, and you have stood staring, unwilling to cross the threshold. I tell you now, beloved, you cannot live in perpetual hesitation. The season for waiting has ended. The time for acting has arrived. Do you not remember what I declared through my servant Paul in 2 Corinthians 6:2? Now is the time of God's favor. Now is the day of salvation. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel more confident. Not when the conditions are safer. Now. Salvation is not a distant hope. It is a present summons. Favor is not a vague promise. It is a living reality waiting to be seized. To postpone your obedience is to postpone your destiny, and to postpone destiny is to risk forfeiting what I designed for you to walk in. Child, this word is weighty because eternity is leaning in. Not everyone who hears it will respond. Some will nod, feel a stirring, and scroll on, dismissing the call as just another message. They will return to their cycles, continue in hesitation, and watch opportunities pass by. It grieves my heart, but I tell you the truth. Not all will awaken, not all will act, not all will step through the door I am holding open. My mission will prevail, but their inheritance will be diminished. Do not let this be your story. Do not let delay rob you of what is yours. Look at Mary, the one chosen to carry the Savior into the world. When the angel spoke words that seemed impossible, she did not argue. She did not delay. She did not demand more evidence. She simply said, "Be it unto me according to your word." With that simple yes, eternity shifted. With that act of surrender, the Word became flesh. Do you see the power of response? A yes opened the way for redemption. A yes aligned heaven with earth. A yes released the fullness of destiny. And so I call you to your yes. Not tomorrow, not in theory, not with half-hearted intention, now. Say it with your mouth. Write it with your hand. Declare it with your spirit, "Yes, Lord." For that yes is not just agreement, it is activation. It is the key that unlocks what has been waiting. It is the trumpet blast that signals your walls to fall. It is the alignment that pulls destiny out of delay and plants it into reality. Do not underestimate the weight of this yes. For too long you have been caught between belief and hesitation, between desire and doubt. You have thought of yourself as cautious, but your caution has cost you time. You have called yourself unworthy, but your shame has silenced your faith. You have waited for more signs, but signs without response are wasted. This moment does not require more evidence. It requires surrender. It does not demand clarity. It demands courage. It does not wait for perfection. It waits for obedience. Hear me, beloved. I am not asking for polished prayers or flawless plans. I am asking for your yes. When Mary said yes, she did not know all it would require. When Abraham said yes, he did not know where the journey would end. When Moses said yes, he did not know how the sea would part. When David said yes, he did not know how Goliath would fall. Their yes preceded the miracle. Their surrender unlocked the strategy. Their obedience revealed the outcome. So it will be with you. This is the decisive hour. This is the moment when your voice matters more than you know. Heaven is not asking whether you feel strong enough. Heaven is asking whether you will trust me enough. The yes I seek is not born of confidence in yourself, but of confidence in me. It is the yes that says, even when I do not see the path, I will walk. It is the yes that declares, even when I feel weak, I will trust your strength. It is the yes that resounds, even when I do not understand, I will obey. That yes is what separates those who watch from those who walk, those who dream from those who do, those who are chosen from those who truly step into their calling. Child, let me speak plainly. The heavens are watching, the angels are leaning in, the scrolls are open, and your destiny is at the door. Will you answer, or will you hesitate? Will you rise, or will you retreat? Will you declare, or will you delay? I have prepared you for this moment, but I will not force you. Love does not coerce, it invites. Purpose does not demand, it beckons. I am not asking for perfection, I am asking for participation. Say yes and watch what I will do. For this yes will not only change your life, it will ripple into generations. It will unlock blessings stored up for your children, your grandchildren, and for those yet unborn. It will break chains that have bound your family line. It will release provision that has been held back. It will open doors that no man can shut. Your yes is not just for you, it is for all those connected to you. That is the weight of being chosen. So once again, with love and urgency, I call you. Do not wait. Do not scroll past this as if it were another voice. Do not tell yourself tomorrow, for tomorrow is not promised. Today is the day of salvation. Now is the time of favor. This is your appointed hour. Say it aloud, even if your voice trembles. Whisper it if you must, but let it be real. Write it if you cannot speak it, but let it be sealed. Lift your eyes and declare it. Yes, Lord. And as those words leave your lips, the atmosphere around you will shift. Angels will move. Strongholds will crack. Your spirit will awaken, and heaven will rejoice, for one more child has remembered who they are and chosen to step into everything I prepared. Beloved, the unveiling has come. The responsibility is clear. The call is urgent. The choice is yours. Say yes and let destiny unfold. My beloved child, remain with me now, for the word I am about to speak carries both weight and wonder. You stand at the edge of a season unlike any other you have known. This is not a routine shift, not another passing of time measured by clocks and calendars. This is a kairos moment, a divine intersection where eternity collides with your reality. In the language of heaven, there are two measures of time: chronos, the steady rhythm of days and years, and kairos, the appointed window where my will breaks into the natural world. You have walked long in chronos, enduring the grind of waiting, but now you are stepping into kairos. Heaven and earth are converging, and I tell you with clarity and love, your appointed time is here. Kairos moments do not appear often, and when they do, they demand recognition. They are holy interruptions, moments when the veil grows thin, when what has been delayed for years suddenly quickens, when what was locked behind walls suddenly opens with ease. This is such a moment. Do not mistake it for coincidence. Do not think it chance that you are hearing these words at this exact time. This is your summons into acceleration. The season of circling is over, and the season of breakthrough has arrived. Look at those who came before you, who did not see their kairos moment until later in life. Yet when they stepped in, the world was changed. Consider Grandma Moses, who did not pick up her paintbrush until her 70s. To the world, her time seemed past. Yet when she moved, when she responded, her art became a legacy admired across nations. Age did not disqualify her, for kairos is not bound by years. Her yes in later days bore fruit that still speaks. Think of Colonel Sanders, who faced rejection after rejection, failure after failure, until the world dismissed him as a man of missed opportunities. Yet past 65, when most were settling into decline, his kairos moment arrived. He stepped in with perseverance, and what seemed small, just a recipe, became a global impact. His story is proof that it is never too late, that when kairos comes, even the ashes of delay can be turned into a platform of influence. And Harriet Doerr, who published her first novel at 74, the world said her time was gone. But I had preserved her voice for a moment when it would shine brightest. Her words, carried from the depths of a life lived, became timeless treasures. Her legacy was not diminished by delay. It was magnified by timing. Then John Glenn, who at 77 returned to space. The world marveled, for such feats were expected only of the young. But I had written into his story that age would not be his barrier, and when he stepped into his kairos, he became a living sign that destiny has no expiration date. These lives testify that when kairos opens, nothing can stand against it. Not age, not rejection, not years of obscurity. Child, I speak this over you now. You are stepping into such a kairos. Within the next 7 days, the walls that have hemmed you in, the delays that have frustrated you, the cycles that have wearied you, will begin to crumble. Not by your striving, not by your cleverness, not by the approval of others, but by obedience and faith. Hebrews 11:30 declares, "By faith the walls of Jericho fell after the people had marched around them for 7 days." This was not human might. It was divine timing. For 6 days, nothing seemed to shift. Yet on the 7th day, the walls collapsed at the sound of obedience. So it will be with you. For years you have circled, for seasons you have prayed, for nights without number you have wept. But every step, every prayer, every tear has been building toward this kairos. The 7th day is upon you. The walls that stood as immovable are trembling. The barriers that defied your efforts are weakening. The delays that mocked your hope are unraveling. And in these next 7 days, I will reveal myself in ways you cannot deny. But hear me with seriousness. Breakthrough is not passive. It does not fall upon those who simply wait. It manifests through those who align with me in faith and obedience. Just as Israel had to walk around Jericho, so too must you act in faith. This is why I call you to prophetic action, simple yet sacred. Write the date, mark it as holy. Let it be your seal of agreement with heaven that you will no longer delay, no longer doubt, no longer shrink back. This date becomes your trumpet blast, your declaration that you believe before you see. Share this word, not as promotion, but as proclamation. For when you share, you signal to the heavens and to the adversary alike that you stand in alignment with what I am doing. Declare aloud that this is your season. Speak into the air. This is my Kairos. My 7-day breakthrough has begun. For life and death are in the power of the tongue, and your confession becomes the key that unlocks manifestation. And do not stop with words. Carry the posture of faith in all you do. Guard your heart from the whispers of doubt that will try to creep in. Silence the lies that say nothing is changing. Stand firm against the fear that says you are unworthy. None of these voices come from me. I have already called you chosen, already sealed you marked, already declared your time has come. Do not allow hesitation to rob you now when you are so close. These next 7 days will not be like the ones before. Watch with expectation, for I am moving swiftly. What has been hidden will be revealed. What has been locked will be opened. What has been delayed will be released. This is not exaggeration. It is the reality of Kairos. You will know it, not just in circumstance, but in spirit. You will feel the acceleration, the stirring, the weight of destiny pressing forward. It will not be confusion, but clarity, not despair, but direction, not weakness, but fresh strength. Beloved, you must understand that this breakthrough is not only for you. When Jericho fell, it was not for one person's freedom. It was for an entire nation stepping into promise. So too, your breakthrough will ripple into the lives of those around you. Your obedience will set others free. Your yes will unlock doors for your family, your community, even for those you do not yet know. This is why the enemy has fought you so hard. He saw the ripple, he feared the impact, and he tried to keep you in delay. But his time is finished. The walls are coming down. So stand in this truth. You are not waiting for someday. You are living in the now. This is your Kairos. This is your appointed season. The 7-day cycle has begun. And as you align with me in faith, you will see the manifestation of what I have long promised. Do not grow weary now. Do not falter now. Do not return to the patterns of hesitation. Step boldly, declare freely, act obediently, and watch as I move heaven and earth on your behalf. I tell you again, with love and authority, within these next 7 days, the walls of delay will fall. The chains of hesitation will break. The cycles of discouragement will end. And you will step into the inheritance that has waited for you since the beginning. Write the date, share the word, declare the promise. These are not small acts. They are prophetic seals of alignment. They are your march around Jericho, your trumpet blast of faith. Rise, beloved, for this is your moment. Your 7-day breakthrough is here. As the promise I spoke in Jeremiah 29:11, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. This is not distant. This is not abstract. These are my words spoken over your life, written into your design, sealed before you ever took your first breath. I do not plan calamity for you. I do not script hopelessness. I have always held prosperity, purpose, and promise for you. And now I ask, will you step into it? The time for wavering is over. Faith has always required movement, not just agreement. Peter could not remain in the boat and still walk on water. Joshua could not stand at a distance and still see Jericho fall. David could not avoid the battlefield and still slay Goliath. Each of them had to move, to risk, to act in obedience that seemed unreasonable to human logic. And each of them discovered that the miracle was waiting on the other side of their step. So too with you. I am not calling you to comfort. I am calling you to courage. I am not asking for your certainty. I am asking for your yes. This is why I call you to concrete acts of alignment. Begin a divine appointments journal, a place to record the fingerprints of heaven as they appear in your days. Do not dismiss the coincidences, the unexpected calls, the doors that open unasked for. Write them down, for they are not accidents. They are confirmations. And when doubt creeps in, you will look back and see that I have been weaving the thread of purpose through every detail. Carve out time each morning for silence with me. 30 minutes where no voice but mine is allowed. No phone, no noise, no distraction. The world clamors to drown out what I am whispering. But when you make space, you will hear me with clarity. Those moments of stillness will become the place of strategy, the wellspring of strength, the anchor of peace that steadies you through every storm. I also call you to guard your heart from the noise of this digital age. Endless scrolling, constant notifications, the barrage of opinions. These are not neutral. They are designed to keep your spirit dull and your ears clogged. Cut them back. Protect your focus. Silence what steals your attention so you can hear what matters most. And seek out community, not of wanderers, but of warriors. Do not isolate yourself in this journey. Find those who will pray with you, believe with you, and remind you of who you are when your strength feels faint. For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am in the midst of them. Alone, you may falter. Together you will rise. Do not let the lie of age hold you back. Your years are not your weakness. They are your weapon. They are the testimony of endurance, the reservoir of wisdom, the mark of perseverance. Grandma Moses began painting in her 70s. Colonel Sanders built a global legacy after 65. Harriet Doer published her first work at 74. John Glenn returned to space at 77. Each of them stepped into their kairos long after the world said it was too late. And yet, their obedience to timing wrote stories that still echo. Do not despise your age. It is not a limitation. It is the proof that I have preserved you for now. So I ask you plainly and with eternal weight, will you say yes? Will you step out of your boat, march around your Jericho, face your Goliath? Will you move beyond hesitation and into obedience? For heaven is leaning in. Angels are on assignment. The scrolls are open, and eternity waits for your reply. This is the threshold moment. In 7 days you will look back and know that this was the turning point. You will mark this day as the before and after of your story. Before, you lived beneath your name. After, you walked in identity. Before, you circled in delay. After, you stepped into destiny. Before, you doubted. After, you declared. Child, I will not beg. but I will beckon. I will not coerce, but I will call. The choice is yours, but the invitation is holy. I offer you hope. I extend to you a future. I place before you life and abundance. The only question that remains is this: will you say yes? My beloved child, as this message draws to its close, I want you to feel the weight of my gratitude. Thank you for remaining, for opening your heart, for leaning in even when your spirit was weary. Whether you have sown with generosity, offered with prayer, or simply sat in the stillness of my presence, know this: I have seen it all, and it delights my heart. Your time is sacred, and your willingness to receive this word is a gift you have laid upon my altar. I now invite you to take what you have heard and let it echo beyond yourself. Share this message so that others who feel forgotten may be reminded of their name. Leave your testimony in the comments, for your voice will ignite faith in someone else who is searching. And subscribe, not merely to follow a channel, but to remain connected to this stream of truth, to walk with a family of faith who are being awakened just as you are. Let this be not a passing encounter, but a lasting fellowship where your spirit is continually fed and strengthened. And now, I stretch my hand over you and speak blessing. May peace flood your mind where anxiety once raged. May healing rise in your body where pain has lingered. May new connections come into your life, divinely appointed and filled with purpose. May angels stand guard at your side, encircling you with protection by day and by night. You are not leaving this moment empty. You go forward covered, strengthened, and empowered. Remember always, you are chosen. You are covered. You are called for such a time as this. Walk in this truth and let it shape every breath you take. And as you go, I seal this promise over you. My face shine upon you and give you peace.